Happy Thursday, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Check it in. Today we're going to talk about how I paid off $20,000 in 12 months using credit cards. I actually used credit cards to pay off credit card debt. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jamal, your credit protector. I'm a small business funding coach, and I help small business owners get in position, improve their personal credit, get access to business funding, and use that funding to scale their business, get more investments, or launch the business of their dreams. Right now, this topic came up because a lot of people are dealing with debt. Credit card debt is at an all time high. Bankruptcies and the filing of bankruptcies have actually gone up since the pandemic has started. So it's important. I thought that it was important that we put it out there that it is possible to eliminate debt, even with credit card debt. And this is a strategy that a lot of people are not aware of, and it uses zero interest credit cards to pay off high interest loans and other high interest credit cards, right? So before I jump too deep into it, share this out with other people who may also be dealing with what can feel like insurmountable debt, or if you're dealing with very high credit card interest rates. We're going to talk about how you can use this strategy to get yourself out of debt, just like I did. I'm also going to be sharing with you the exact credit cards that I used, and I'm also going to talk about how you can use this strategy. Actually, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into a more advanced strategy where you can use zero interest business credit cards to not only get out of debt faster, but drastically increase your personal credit score by removing the debt totally off your personal credit report. So that's interesting. Make sure that you stay tuned, share this out with multiple people. And I'm also going to share with you the exact credit cards that I use. We're going to go over some pro tips. We're going to go over the common objections and concerns that people may have. And I really hope that this will be valuable to you. All right, let me do one more thing. Hey, everybody that's tapping in. Let me get this together really quickly. Boom, boom, boom. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Okay, let me make sure I get this here for you. I hate, and by the way, I hate that. This is, let's see. All right, cool. So this is the strategy that I personally use to pay off about $25,000 in debt over the course of a year, right? So we're not talking about a quick fix. We're not talking about some get rich scheme. We're talking about a legitimate strategy that most people can use if they're in position, right? I feel like anyone can use this strategy as long as you can get access to the credit cards. So at this time, let me give you a little bit of backstory, right? This was about 5 years ago. Okay. At that time, W 2 employee, and I really didn't understand credit the way I understood it now. And I was just, typical thing using my credit cards, using it for this, that, trips, regular stuff, right? I didn't even know about leveraging it for points, right? I just literally just had a credit card, using it the regular way, buying stuff I couldn't afford, using it when I ran out of money, all that type of thing. And what happened was that it got to a point where I was in utilization and credit card hell. Like, I was $25,000 in debt. I was only making 50,000 at the time, so literally half my income was in credit card debt. It was crazy. So I was on the internet asking around, talking to some older folks, and this is the strategy that they came up with, right? It actually turns out that you can use zero interest credit cards to pay off your debt. Who would have known? And the strategy is pretty simple. You're going to apply for zero interest credit cards. You're going to do a balance transfer from your current credit card that you're paying 18, 20, 25, 29%. And you're going to do a balance transfer from that credit card over to your new zero interest credit card. Once you're at zero interest, guess what? Every single payment you make goes directly to the principal. You're not paying any more interest. You totally killed it. So imagine I had $25,000 in credit card debt, and my interest rates were anywhere from like 18 to 26%. Murderous. Okay, 26% on $25,000. We're talking about damn near $3,000 just in interest that I was paying. It's crazy. So I felt like I could never get out of debt ever. I was like online searching for everything. I was working 2 jobs at the time. And it wasn't until I came across this strategy. Now, at that time, I was at like a 685, right? My issue at that time was, again, the debt and the APRs were killing me. So these are the credit cards that I use for this strategy at that time. All of these are zero interest for 12 months. I'm going to give you another credit card that actually has zero interest for 21 months. Give you my data points at that time. So I was at a 685, no derogatories, no bankruptcies, no collections. It was just I racked up a bunch of debt. I utilized the strategy of credit card stacking. I found 3 credit cards that I liked at that time, and I applied for all 3 of them in one day. That's important. You want to do when you're going and using the strategy, or anytime you're going for funding, you want to submit all your applications, or as many applications as you can, all in the same day. So I did the Chase Freedom card. Again, this was a couple of years ago, so I didn't even know about business credit, which the business credit is a cheat code. You'll be able to double dip. I'm going to explain that a little later. But you'll be able to, I use the Chase Freedom card. This is the OG Freedom. They don't even have this card no more. Actually, hold on. I can show you. Hold on. Let me see. Where is it at? I'm going to show you all the cards that I use. So I had the OG Freedom card, right? I got the American Express Everyday card. The silver one, not the blue one. That was 12 months interest free. The Chase Freedom card was 12 months interest free. And I applied for the Capital One Saver card. And no, that was it. Those 3 cards. So I applied for the Saver one, the Chase Freedom, and the American Express Everyday card. So these 2 cards, right? So it was a total of these 3 cards. I got these 3 cards to get out of debt. This was zero interest for 12 months. The Saver card is zero interest for 12 months. And then the American Express Everyday is zero interest for 12 months. This is the preferred card. They offered that to me later, a year after paying off the debt. And after having the card on-time payments, they offered to upgrade this. So this one, the preferred, earns extra points. And basically, I took that $25,000 debt, I divided it up over the payments over 12 months. I got a second job, and I just tackled that joint, okay? Tackled it, got it up out there. That is the actual strategy. Those are 3 credit cards that you can apply for literally today. I applied for all 3 of these cards at the exact same time. Got approved for all 3 of them, and I started transferring my balances. Now, you may be wondering, okay, or you may have seen that there's a balance transfer fee. Balance transfers are not free, right? If they're already giving you a year worth of no interest, they have to make money somehow. So it's 3 to 5, but it's 3 to 5%, right? Let's think about it. You're paying. I went from paying 18 to like 26% to nothing, right? To no interest whatsoever. All I had to do was pay for the balance transfer. 3 to 5%. It's a one-time fee. It's a no-brainer. Super easy, right? It's a no-brainer to do that. After that is just a matter of scheduling out how you want to do your payments, because you literally just gave yourself a zero interest loan and now you're able to pay it off over the course of time. That's exactly what I did. Now, some other cards that I didn't use to get out of debt, but you can use, are the Bank of America credit cards. Now, they don't give you 12 months, they only give you about 9 months, but still zero interest. I know it's a short period of time. Another great card for balance transfers for debt elimination is the City Diamond Preferred. This is a personal card, and all of the cards I just showed you are all personal. Later, I'll talk about business cards. The City Diamond Preferred card gives you 21 months of zero interest. So even if you have a $5,000 or $10,000 credit card, I'm sorry, $5,000, $10,000 worth of debt, you can transfer it over to the City Diamond Preferred, and you have 21 months to pay it off. Here's another great thing with this particular strategy. At that point in time, I applied for 3 credit cards because you don't know how much you're going to get approved for. So instead of me banking everything that, oh, this one credit card will take care of my debt, I applied for 3. So that way, just in case one wasn't big enough, I had 2 more. At that time, I think I was approved for, let me see, two, 5, 7, maybe like $16,000 total, right? It was approved for about $16,000 total. Now you hear that, right? 16,000, but I owe 25,000. What? How does that work? It's very simple. As you pay off the debt, okay, as you pay off this debt, you can continue to do balance transfers throughout the entire zero interest period. Read the terms and conditions of your credit cards or the credit cards that you're applying for. So what I did was, as I paid off the debt, because I still had debt that was more than my credit limits. So as I paid, transfer the balance, paid down the zero interest credit card, then do another balance transfer onto that zero interest credit card. That was the strategy. That's what I did. Now, let's say it took longer than the zero interest period. What would you do? It's very easy. You're going to do it all again. You're going to find another set of credit cards that you want. By the way, you're not going to run out of zero interest credit cards. Just in case someone wants to comment that, you're not. There are over 100 zero interest credit cards just in existence, period. So what you would do is you would just do it again. You go, you find more zero interest credit cards, and you would do the balance transfer again. Another more advanced strategy is you can actually call your current credit cards that have zero interest and ask them if they'll extend it. So it may be 12, but you can call and extend it and have that 12 months turn into 18 months. It's a case by case basis, it's a bank by bank situation. So you definitely want to make sure that you check with your bank. For those that are just coming in, what's going on? Like this video if this is information that's valuable to you or someone else, right? Also, feel free to leave a comment, share your experiences with using zero interest credit cards to pay off debt. The 3 cards that I use to pay off debt is the American Express Everyday card, the Chase Freedom, the OG version of the Freedom, not the new ones, but you can use the new ones too. They have the Flex, they have the Freedom Flex and the Freedom, what's the name of the new one? The Freedom Unlimited, the Freedom Unlimited. Both of those have zero interest and they have bonuses. That's what also forgot. I definitely made sure I hit every bonus on each of these credit cards. And once I got the $200 bonus from the Chase Freedom, I just put that towards the debt. And the 200, no, yeah, the $200 I got from my Capital One card, I just put that towards the debt as well. I used Capital One Saver One card. I didn't know any better at that time. So yes, I got a Capital One card. Some other cards that I didn't use, but also are good for zero interest, is the Bank of America family of credit cards. They're going to give you 9 months of no interest. Um, the giant in the room is the City Diamond Preferred credit card. It doesn't give you any bonuses, it doesn't give you any rewards, but it's zero interest for 21 months, which is crazy. For the average person, 21 months is more than enough time to get out of debt or to pay off debt, especially when there's no interest on it. Okay, you'll pay a balance transfer fee, but that's 3 to 5%, super insignificant. Now, let me tell you guys the real cheat code. If I knew then what I knew now, I would have been able to not only eliminate this debt, my I would have went from like a 685 to an 800 simply by using zero interest business credit cards. So the strategy is you can apply for zero interest business credit cards even if you do not have an actual LLC. It's called being applying as a sole proprietor. Once you apply for these zero interest business credit cards, you can actually do a balance transfer from your personal credit card over to the zero interest business credit card. What is this going to do for you though? Not only are you now killing the interest on this debt, you are moving the debt off of your personal credit report. So instead of it looking like I owed $25,000 on my personal credit, it would literally look like I just in 30 days paid off all of my credit cards. The banks and the credit unions wouldn't even know by looking at my credit report that I still had this $25,000 worth of debt. Then what that would do is free you up. Your score is going to skyrocket, right? And now you can do the same thing, still manage and pay off those business credit cards while your personal profile is sitting pretty. I would, of course, the hardest thing right now during this time when I was doing it is I did not incur any new debt. So I'm not suggesting that you move the personal debt over to the business side and then run up your personal cards again, because that is where a lot of people mess up. You don't want to do that. You want to avoid that. I would avoid it, but everybody can do what they do. It's a free world, free country, but I wouldn't do it. Some business credit cards that you can use, right? Let's see. There's a lot of business zero interest business credit cards, right? American Express has two of them with zero interest for 12 months. Chase, the Inc. family, three of their credit cards with zero interest for 12 months. Um, there are several. There are several banks that have zero interest credit cards. U.S. Bank has one, right? Also, which credit? That's way too general because credit cards are personal to you. You have to determine why you want to get a credit card in the first place. Once you understand why you want to get a credit card, then you can determine which credit card is best for your specific reasons. What I'm talking about today is using zero interest credit cards to pay off debt and get out of debt. So what's the best credit card to get out of debt? A zero interest credit card that's going to give you at least 12 months of zero interest, right? Every credit card in your wallet should be a tool. You should know why you applied for each and every credit card. As a matter of fact, hold on, right? So this is my little stack of credit cards, right? This is my little stack of credit cards. I have a reason and I can tell you why I have each and every one of these credit cards. I'm not one of those people that just collects a bunch of store cards just for the sake of collecting cards. If they don't have zero interest, what am I using it for? If I'm not getting cash back or points, what am I using it for? If it doesn't give me some additional perk like covering TSA pre-check or being able to get clear for free, what am I using it for? So when you're asking and wondering which credit card is best, what is important to you? Do you want to use points? Do you like to travel? Do you just want to use cash back? Because you can get a credit card from anywhere. Even AMC, the movie theater, has a credit card. My mom got one because she loves the movies. Go figure. Now, with these zero interest business credit cards, the cheat code is that it's going to move all that debt off your personal credit report. So now you literally have hidden all of your debt. If I knew about this back then, I would have been done that. I would have taken that 25,000 and moved it. What's good, Craig? Uh, I would have taken that 25,000 and moved it all to the business side. Now, you may be wondering, well, what's the best business credit cards? Which business credit cards have 0% interest and for how long, right? I actually put together a list of 20 different banks that have zero interest credit cards. Not only that, it has which bank has zero interest credit cards. It tells you which credit bureau that bank pulls from. It also tells you how long the zero interest period is for, and it tells you the exact credit card to apply for. Because not some banks have different cards, and not all of their cards offer 0% interest. Some credit cards, they only have 9 months of zero interest. Other credit cards have 12 months. Other credit cards have 18 months of zero interest. I put together an entire list of about 20 different banks that offer zero interest credit cards. So for those of y'all watching that's a little bit more advanced and you're thinking to yourself, okay, cool, I'll apply for one or two zero interest, but what am I going to do once I run out on this zero interest? You can always apply for another credit card and roll that debt over to the next zero interest credit card. When you have a list of 20 credit cards, let's say you only apply for one a month, right? We're looking at getting 20. That's literally zero interest for nearly 20 months. What if you only get one a year? You're looking at getting zero interest for the next 20 years, right? So I have that list. That's the link that's actually pinned to the comments, right? So if you're like, okay, which credit card is best for zero interest? What credit cards can I use for this strategy? Because if I knew better, I would have used business credit to do this as opposed to personal. So, yes, I eliminated the debt. Yes, I eliminated the zero interest. But because I use personal credit cards, the banks could still see the debt on my personal credit. Whereas if I just use a business credit card, they were like, oh, snap, this dude went from $25,000 in debt to no debt in 30 days. Let's give him credit limit increases. Let's start offering him even more credit because we see that he's acting and being responsible, right? So go ahead, click that link. That link actually is only pinned on this video. I think, yeah, it is not available anywhere else. The list that I'm talking about actually isn't available anywhere else. It's not in the description. It's not on my website. You can only grab that list using that link that I have pinned here, right? And so we spoke about how to use the strategy of using credit cards to pay off credit cards and get out of debt. It sounds crazy until you do it. I've done it. I'll do it again. Now that we're out of debt, you can start using your zero interest credit cards for another strategy. This is another strategy you guys can start using. Use your zero interest credit cards for funding. Use your zero interest credit cards to start building up your business. So if you're doing, in my instance, I use it for advertising, right? You may be running a campaign, advertising campaign. Use a zero interest credit card for that. As the clients come in, you'll pay for the ads, right? As clients come in, you're going to pay off the credit card. You're going to be able to close at least 20-30% of the clients that respond to your ad. Pay that off. I help several of my clients who are real estate investors get access to anywhere from $30 to $50,000 in zero interest funding because that's what they wanted, right? One of my clients was like, "Oh, I want 100,000." Then they changed their mind. They decided they only wanted about 50,000. No problem. So we did that, and now she's using her zero interest credit cards to buy the materials for her fix and flips, and she's using her zero interest credit cards to put down payments on new properties. I have another client who has Airbnbs, right? She uses her zero interest credit cards to buy furniture to furnish and decorate the Airbnbs. Once they're booked, that income and that revenue is going to go towards paying off the zero interest credit cards that she just used for furnishing and decorating. That makes sense, right? So Siva with the travel cards, the best travel cards are going to be Chase and Amex. Well, Chase, Amex, the Venture X by Capital One, but uh, the Venture X is not a 0% credit card. You'll get charged percentage upfront from day one with their APR. And also Citi. Citi has their thank you points. Citi also has their American airline credit cards, which are great because you're able to earn status with American just by spending on the credit card. It's super loud in here. I'm in the lobby of a hotel, so it's hella loud right now. And about to hop on the road. But before I got on the road, I wanted to tap in and to share this strategy so you guys know what's possible. Now, to take full advantage of these cards, you're going to want to have at least a 680. When I took advantage of this strategy, I had a 685. You want to make sure that you don't have a bankruptcy on your credit report, at least a bankruptcy that is, I would say, not a recent bankruptcy. It should be at least 3 years old before you attempt to apply for these credit cards, right? And you don't want any recent late payments. Okay. Now, the business credit cards are even more strict. That's why on my list, I have who exactly they pull from. So, so that way you can check that credit report before you apply for that credit card. And if I was you, this is exactly what I would do and how I would use the list. I would look at the list. I would choose 3 banks from each credit reporting agency. So 3 banks that pull TransUnion, 3 banks that pull Equifax, 3 banks that pull Experian. Once I have my 3 banks from each one, that's 9 banks, right? I already know which the exact credit card that I need to apply for because it's on the list. Now all I have to do is just make sure my credit report is clean, and then boom, I can just knock out, take a day, Monday, hit TransUnion, Tuesday, hit Equifax, Wednesday, hit Experian. Now you just got approved for 9 0 interest credit cards in 3 days with minimum impact to your credit score because each of those bureaus is only going to show 3 hard inquiries, right? So you're going to get 9 cards with 3 hard inquiries. And if you're already some of the banks don't even pull you if you're already a client with them. So for instance, American Express, they typically do not do another hard pull if you're already a current customer. So that means you can start off with the Amex, double back, get another 0 interest credit card with absolutely no hard pull, right? So so in reality, in that instance, you would end up with 3 cards with only 2 pulls. That makes sense. Y'all let me know if that makes sense. Okay. So that's how I would do it. I would take the list, I choose three that pull TransUnion, three that choose Equifax, three that pulls Experian. Now, some, for instance, right? Citizens Bank pulls Equifax. DCU, Digital Credit Union, they pull Equifax. Bank of America is going to pull Experian. Chase pulls Experian, or they may pull TransUnion. It depends. They started switching up. Um, and then American Express, they pull TransUnion or Experian depending on where you're located. Like if you're on the West Coast, they're going to pull TransUnion, right? That amount of detail is actually on the list. Okay, so a lot of clients, and when I hold master classes, I actually host a free master class every Sunday at 7 p.m. They'll ask, well, where do I start? How do I start? What do I do? How do I know which bank to go to? That's a very common question. That's why I created the list, because it's going to tell you what cards to start off with. These are credit cards that you can even get as a new business. You don't have to be in business for 6 months. You don't have to be in business for 12 months. You can be a startup. As long as you have a solid credit report, personal credit report, you can get approved for any of these zero interest business credit cards, right? That includes US Bank, that includes Chase, that includes American Express, that includes Wells Fargo, that includes Capital One, that includes Citizens Bank. Any of these banks will give a startup, right? A startup access to zero interest financing as long as you have a solid credit report. So listen, this list is only available through this live, through the link that I have pinned, right? So you definitely want to make sure you grab that. I'm actually about to hop on the road. I have a nice little 5 hour drive. Hopefully, this was beneficial to everybody that listen. Listen, make sure you get out of debt. All right. Use the tools that's available to you. This is a strategy that I haven't seen many people talk about online, and it's kind of a hidden gem. Right? It's not something that you generally will be able to just Google and say how to use credit cards to get out of debt. So take advantage, take full advantage of the list. You're going to have 20 different banks that's offering zero interest on the business side. Do yourself a favor. Take that personal debt, transfer it over to the business side on zero interest, and boost your personal credit report. Right? Just from transferring the debt from the personal to the business, your score is going to go up like 150 points. Easy. Just from moving the debt. All right. So listen, I'm out of here, everybody. I'm gonna catch you later. If you haven't clicked the link, you won't be able to get it once I shut down the live. All right. In the meantime, in between time, y'all be easy. Y'all be great. I'll talk to you later. Peace.